Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a pretty provocative critique, one that really questions the bedrock of modern physics. And believe it or not, it all starts with just three simple but really powerful words. So, the text we're digging into today kicks things off with these three German words. They translate to strange, baffling, odd. And the author uses them to set the stage for a really deep, and you'll see, a very pointed criticism of how we even think about light itself.
Now here's the thing. Those words, strange, baffling, odd, they weren't just picked out of thin air by the author. No, they allegedly came from Albert Einstein himself, and he was using them to describe his own, cornerstone discovery, the speed of light.
And this number right here, this is what all that strangeness is about. 300,000 kilometers per second. It's the constant speed of light. And this isn't just some random fact. It's an absolute pillar of Einstein's theory of relativity and pretty much all the physics that came after it. This is the fundamental puzzle, right? I mean, think about it. If you're on a train and you throw a ball, its speed is different for you versus for someone standing still on the platform. That just makes sense. But not light. For some reason, its speed is exactly the same for everyone, everywhere, no matter what. And the author's whole argument is that modern physics never actually solved this mystery. So here's the crucial point from our source's perspective. Einstein didn't explain why the speed of light is so weirdly constant. He just accepted it. He took this strangeness as a given, as rule number one, and then built his incredible, revolutionary theories of relativity right on top of that unexplained foundation. And taking that one strange starting point and running with it, the author argues, well, that leads to a pretty flawed worldview. It's a critique of what they call very modernist theories. Okay, so the author uses a really powerful, a pretty shocking analogy here. They're arguing that by fixating on this one bizarre aspect of light, its constant speed, and then building your entire picture of the universe from that one point, well, that's a deeply flawed way to do science. It's a critique of the method itself. It's like taking one strange anomaly, calling it a fundamental law, and then trying to force the rest of reality to fit into it. So, if the modern approach is supposedly so flawed, what's the alternative? Well, the author says we need to look back, way back, to Isaac Newton, and an idea that's pretty much been thrown out by now. The author wants us to hit pause and reconsider this thing called the luminiferous ether. Now, I know, it sounds super old-fashioned, but the idea was actually pretty simple, that space isn't totally empty. Instead, it's filled with some kind of invisible substance that carries light waves, kind of like how water carries waves in the ocean. And even though we've mostly moved on from this, our source claims it was a way more logical place to start. And the author is really emphatic about this. They insist Newton's idea wasn't dumb. It was a very close hypothesis. It was logical, it was intuitive. And to help us see how common sense this old idea actually was, they use a fantastic modern analogy. Think about it. None of us think it's weird that our cell phones need a network to get a signal, right? So the author asks, why is it so strange to think that light might need a cosmic network, this ether, to travel across the universe? When you put it that way, it suddenly feels like a pretty simple, common sense idea. Now, this is a really, really critical distinction for the author. Newton's whole idea of the ether, it wasn't some dogmatic, this is how it is statement. Not at all. It was a tool for thinking, a speculation. It was a what if that was designed to help him figure out the mechanics of light. It was never, ever meant to be some unshakable truth or an axiom. And that difference, the one between a simple hypothesis and absolute truth, that is the key to understanding the author's final, and I gotta say, most passionate argument. Yeah, the author pulls no punches here. They use this incredibly strong German phrase, morally outrageous, to describe what they see as a great injustice in the history of science. And what was that injustice? In their view, it's the fact that just because Newton's hypothesis about the ether was supposedly disproven, the entirety of his physics was just kind of dismissed or treated as obsolete. To back this up, the author basically channels the spirit of the father of physics himself, making a case for some real scientific humility. The core message is simple. Our knowledge is just a tiny sliver of what's out there. There are countless things in the universe we can't even perceive, let alone explain. So, to throw out an entire system of thought because one guess turned out wrong, well, that's just supreme arrogance.
And this right here, this is the question at the very heart of this entire explanation. The source text is really forcing us to look at the building blocks of our modern scientific world and ask ourselves, are they as solid as we think? Or is our whole beautiful picture of the cosmos built on a foundation that remains, to this very day, strange, baffling, and odd?